If you had to start from scratch, how would you do it?
How much knowledge do I have?
0.
What I would do is I would spend a lot of time on that. What would you do?
Yeah, for me, I think...
This is a hack. Will save you so much time.
What was the biggest return you ever made?
How long did it take us to become successful in crypto?
All right, Robin, question number 1. You seem to be very cautious about many crypto projects and rarely encourage investing in them. Could you give us an idea of what projects you currently find interesting or worth investing in?
So I received this question when I was talking about like altcoins and why I wouldn't invest like in a bunch of altcoins. The simple reason for that is like in the altcoin space, you have two important things that you have to understand. First of all, not every market phase is good for altcoins. And if you are in the correct market phase, most projects are not necessarily good because they have strong fundamentals, but because they are hype driven. And I would invest in a fundamental weak project if the narrative is right. So when we think back to AI agents, for example, like most of the AI agents, like they only went up because there was hype, not intrinsic value.
You said it from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like basically a scam.
It's basically a scam.
But we invested in it.
It's the best scam. It's the best scam in terms of attracting attention. Now, this is what you want to look out for. But when I talk about projects and coins that I want to hold long term, I'm looking for fundamental value. Now we come back to the second part, like, is it the right time to invest into those coins in bullish market environments? No. Why? Because when you want to invest as a fundamental, and like the key principle of fundamental investor is that you look for coins or stocks that are undervalued. In bull markets, crypto tends to be overvalued. In bull markets, you can invest in narrative coins because through like the reflexivity principle, those coins tend to go up even more. So those coins are good in bullish environments. In bearish environments, I'm looking for fundamentally strong projects. But the truth is only 0.00001% of the projects actually have a real world use case. So to answer which projects I find interesting, I'm looking for fundamentally strong projects where they build like real products and products that are actually only available through blockchain technology. And again, the reality is there are only like a handful of those projects. So to give you an example, I talked about it in the previous podcast as well. ENA, for example, is just a better savings account in USD. So this would be a product which is only available through blockchain technology and is actually an interesting play in those bearish market environments.
Yeah. And also what I find interesting is that it's like Robin said, you know, it's not that we're actively searching for, I mean, we are researching every narrative, but we're not looking for specific coins which will go to the moon. What we're looking for is the market signaling us which coins are going to the moon.
Yeah.
This is a huge difference. Do you understand? Do not search for coins that will go up. Look for market clues that will tell you which coins will go up. And this is what we're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
This is basically it. This is what I find interesting. We will find the next narrative that will go up, and we will do this by reading the market. And this is the narrative that I will ultimately find interesting. If it's meme coins, it's going to be meme coins. If it's RWA, it's going to be RWA. But we're not looking at one sector and being like and forcing it to go up because we cannot control it.
100%.
So question number 2, will Solana return to its previous peak? Let me just not Google it, but let me look where the previous peak was.
I think it was $260 or something like that. So $263 or so. So no matter where it is.
Yeah, let's say 300.
300, all right.
Let's say 300.
So the peak of Solana, let's say, was at $300. Now, when someone asks me this question, I ask a follow-up question, which is, okay, on which time frame? Because like people ask me that question, and like when I say, okay, it will reach its all-time high, like you're missing a crucial information here. Solana will go back to its all-time high eventually, but the question is when. And if you want to optimize for, let's say, the next 6 months, like I can't tell you if Solana will reach its all-time high in the next 6 months. So there need to be some things aligned. There need to be hype. Will it reach it eventually? I believe so.
Yep.
But like in the short term, I don't think so.
For me,
You're bearish. Man is bearish. Okay.
I mean, it could reach back to its all-time high, but will it like significantly go above? I'm not sure about it. Like it will. I think it can. No, it will go back up again. However, I think there are better coins out there with higher risk to reward. So personally, I think I might get into Solana and rotate my Bitcoin or ETH when the time is right for a few weeks or months.
Right.
When our systems tell us that it's the strongest coins between the big ones.
Okay, so why do you believe that Solana isn't like, why are you not completely bullish on Solana?
Because I think it already had most of its hype. It had quite a particular history because it went down like to undervalued levels, which were unfathomable because of Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, the collapse, Luna. So it went down to like, I think $2 or something crazy like that.
I think $15.
15?
$15 to $20.
You sure? It went down to $8.
$8, all right.
It went down to $8. So, and it was like also one of the biggest assets. And then it came back with such a force because of many things, but also because it was fundamentally good. So in my eyes, you know, it was like the consensus play. It was like Solana is the number one major coin.
Yeah.
And I think the bigger potential risk to rewards is going to be another altcoins. I'm not saying it's not going to go up. It probably will. I just think that it already has most of its big upside behind. It's not going to do a 10x.
Right, got it. So you are looking for higher risk to reward ratios and like riskier
With the
coins,
same risk.
and for the more secure part of your portfolio, you just stay in Bitcoin.
Yeah, like I have a system which tells me which of the 3 or 4 major coins is the strongest one.
Yeah.
And I kind of switch between them.
All right, got it.
But you have it as well.
We have the system which tells us to buy Bitcoin or Solana. This is actually something that a lot
Or
of people
ETH.
should have. All right,
If it ever comes back.
if it ever comes back.
But whatever. All right. Next question. It's interesting you say 99% are Ponzi schemes, as that sentiment usually comes from crypto skeptics.
Yeah.
I always thought you were a crypto supporter, investor, or trader. Wow. Big accusations.
It's not an action. It's actually the reality. Like most people out there don't realize that crypto, like we worked in crypto. We know exactly how the teams tick. We have been in crypto. We understand the mechanics of tokenomics. We have been in the market for 8 years. And the reality that you need to understand is that the projects out there, 99% of them won't survive. And the simple reason for that is that the people who founded them only founded them so they can enrich themselves. And all the coins out there, like there are so many mechanics I can talk about right now. So for example, even good projects are not necessarily good investments because the coins are not attached to the success of the project. So one example for that is, for example, Uniswap. I think they voted for fee switch, so it might change in the future. But let's say till now, the Uni token wasn't attached to the success of the Uniswap
What do you mean by that?
So let's make a comparison to stocks. So when you buy a stock, you get dividends. Out of the dividends, you can calculate an intrinsic value of that specific stock. So when you don't have that dividend, you still have rights to vote in that company, like for like most stocks out there. You still have a right to like attend those meetings where all the shareholders can discuss like the future of this company. And in crypto, it works a bit differently. So when you buy, for example, the Uniswap token, you don't get a dividend. Like one key thing that would make you buy this coin falls apart. Like you can't calculate an intrinsic value for the Uni token. So when the project generates revenue, it doesn't go to the token holders, which in fact leads to us thinking, okay, why do people buy Uniswap tokens then? All right, the next like big token category in crypto are governance tokens. But then you look at the governance structure of Uniswap and realize, okay, most of the tokens are in the hands of a couple of big investors. And a lot of them are actually in the hands of the Unilabs team. So they actually control how the project continues to develop. So the value of the token, the real value, the intrinsic value of the token is so low compared to what the project is actually doing in terms of revenue that it already makes no sense. Like, why do people buy Uniswap tokens? So the price only goes up when there's hype and other people are buying into it. So the value of, like, theoretically, Uniswap tokens can go to a very low valuation because there's nothing backing them, like in a Ponzi scheme. Then you have another category where people say, okay, you can actually stake your tokens. Like, for example, the Aave token is a good example for that. Now, people think, okay, now I stake my Aave token and I get like a very small APY for it. But when you look at the mechanics of the token, you will soon realize that holding the Aave token and staking it is actually a huge risk, because when Aave, which is a lending and borrowing protocol, goes bankrupt, what do they do with the token? With the staked tokens?
Liquidate.
They liquidate all the staked Aave tokens so they can repay the debt if there's any exploit or something like that happening. So you are actually at a huge risk when you stake your Aave tokens that in the case of Aave getting exploited, that your Aave tokens will get used to secure the funds of the project. Then this makes me think, okay, why should I buy Aave? So there's actually no reason to buy Aave. Like, the only reason is to buy it because of hype around the project. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And the deeper you go to the mechanics of how tokens are actually being used in crypto, the more you realize, okay, this is actually not a good investment. When this would be a stock, I wouldn't touch it. And every other big investor and hedge fund out there would say, stay away from that. Because like the chances of you losing your money are actually really high. Then you have meme coins, which are just Ponzi schemes. Like, the deeper you go, the more projects you look at, the more you realize that 99% of the projects are actually like only Ponzi schemes. And like the underlying value is actually really, really low and far from where it's currently valued. So this also brings a benefit, because you realize, okay, when every project out there is a Ponzi scheme and like the underlying value is much lower than the actual value, I'm not emotionally attached anymore to that investment. So this skepticism helps me to execute my exit strategies, because I don't feel anything. I don't have emotions when it comes to my crypto holdings, because I know what the underlying value is and I know why the price goes up. So yeah, long answer, short question, but I think it was necessary. What do you think?
Yeah, so basically, if you look at altcoins and basically at assets all around the globe, like, what is an asset, or why does an asset have value? It's because it's scarce and because people say it has value. For example, if you have 100 pieces of a certain art collection, it can either be like, if I create art of like maybe 100 pictures, it is scarce because there's only 100 of them. However, the collectiveness doesn't attribute my art any value, because I'm probably super bad at art and I'm shit at art, right? But if like Banksy or Leonardo da Vinci does like 100 paintings, everyone's like, oh my God, these are like the best.
Yeah.
So in crypto, what you have is you have the scarcity. You only have the scarcity in the tokenomics. So you have a set supply of tokens. However, the amount of tokens that can be created is trending towards infinity right now. It has never been easier to create a coin. Everyone's creating coins. Millions of coins are hitting the market every month. It's crazy. Like on Solana alone, I think we have over 2 to 3 million coins. So everything gets diluted. And statistically seen, if you have millions of coins, like there's only so much capital out there, statistically seen, it is almost impossible. I mean, not almost impossible, but you're on the safer side to say that something is a scam than not, just because of the sheer amount of tokens that are out there.
Yeah.
And you might think token XYZ is the best, but the other person, your neighbor, might think something else is the best, and it's all based on some opinions online. And most of the tokens actually, like you said, don't have any value. I think you summarized this perfectly, why they don't have any value, so I will not go into that too much. But at the end of the day, we're not negative, like we're degens if we want to be, you know, like we will be the first ones to buy the biggest shitcoins out there when the bull market is back. I will buy Rocket, Inu, whatever. I don't care. We will buy everything, right? But there's a time and place to be bullish. And we actually want to be realistic and we want to help you guys with all our heart. So we're not going to pretend that everything, because we know the truth, right? And we actually tell the truth, and it's just facts. And just statistically seen, if you have millions of coins, do you really think that all of them are good? Obviously not. It's going to be a handful. And that's a big thing, because a handful of coins is going to transform the world, like actually. But it will only be a handful of coins, and it will be hard to spot, and it will be it will be hard to find them, right? So crypto is good, and it's going to change the world. Because it's such a new financial system, it's like the Wild West. Everyone can create their own economy. It's being flooded with trash.
Yeah. So every time when you analyze a project, it should convince you of its worth. You shouldn't go like, you don't want to look out for the next 100x coin. You want to get convinced by the project, and not just by the headline, which says we are the next AI, whatever, but like actually convinced that this is a product which is targeting millions of people out there who actually want to use this blockchain technology product, which is just better overall. And like, as I said, like you will soon realize that finding those projects is an art in itself. And when you also said it, like when the bull market hits, we will also buy stuff which has no intrinsic value, but we know that. And the fact that we know it makes like the mindset which you have when you go into those places completely different than the mindset that this could be the next decentralized finance.
We will be XRP army for 2 weeks.
Exactly. So those, like, just have the correct mindset when you enter crypto. Like everyone out there they want to take your money, so you have to play better than them. You have to play smarter than them. And knowing that fact, that everyone else out there is rugging you, changes your perspective. All right.
Next question.
Next question.
If you had to start from scratch, how would you do it?
All right. Let's get a bit deeper into like that question first. Like when we say start from scratch.
Okay, you have no network.
No network.
You don't know anyone.
I don't know.
And you have 10K.
10K.
And you have a job. You have like income, so you're not relying on your portfolio. You can live comfortably, blah, blah. You just have 10K, no connections, nothing.
How much knowledge do you have?
Zero.
Zero knowledge.
Zero knowledge.
Okay, I would
Okay, yeah, let's do without, or let's start with your knowledge and maybe without. I don't know what would help the viewers more.
All right, I would say let's make both cases. Like let's go through both cases. The first one where I have knowledge, like first of all, I would be patient. I know I only have 10K, so I need to be very precise on how I would place my bets. With my knowledge, I would be able to go into high conviction bets, meaning that I would be able to bet a lot of money in higher risk coins, percentage-wise. So what I would do is I would use every free second that I have to screen the markets. So I would monitor which narrative pops up and which coins inside of this narrative. So I would be extremely active on all social media platforms and on all, like I would analyze data like a fucking freak. And once I see an opportunity, I would go into it, scale that position up. But also when I see that this position is going like in the other direction, I would also cut that position pretty fast. So I would be very aggressively with cutting my bets, but also very aggressive with the sides that I put into this specific position. So I would research narratives, I would monitor all of them, I would spend a lot of time on that and would be patient with my investments. When I see a chance arise, I would go into it, scale that position up very, very aggressively, but would also cut it very aggressively. And this is how I would play it till I have 100K, and then I would go a bit more into secure assets and slowly would slow down the process of like being aggressive and playing the market cycles a bit more. But I would say this is how it would.
So basically you would invest like we do now, just a bit more aggressive when the time's right.
Yeah, way more aggressive. Like right now I'm a fucking grandmaster. So yeah, like I would be more aggressive. How would you do it?
I would, do we have access to our knowledge, but do we have access to our indicators, technology? Like, yeah, okay. And I would also do exactly the same. I already have my systems in place. We have everything, like all the data that we need.
Yeah.
And I would also just be With 10K. Yeah, I would do the same. Just a bit more aggressive when the time's right.
Yeah.
Go a bit more into lower caps. Exactly what you said.
Yeah.
But all right, let's say now.
Without knowledge.
Yeah, without knowledge. Like you don't have any of our indicators, no algos, no AI, no nothing. You just, like how I envisioned this in my head is like, what would the process be, for example, if you would learn something completely new? Like, let's say, for me, it was playing the piano, for example, or whatever.
Okay, so let's stay in
How would you
investing.
Okay.
I actually talked with my little brother about it, so because he also starts with investing now. The first thing that you need to understand is, or that I would do, is try to analyze like how the space works. Understanding the fundamentals of what makes a coin go up and what makes it go down. At the core fundamentals, not what is crypto, not what is like whatever, like what is a blockchain and stuff like this. In the end, this is a nice to have knowledge, but it doesn't bring me money. So I want to understand like how to make money in this space. What are the options that I have? Because I only have 10K, I would start, and I already use some knowledge that I have, I would start very, very passive. So I would start with very small positions to increase the amounts of tests that I have. So I would document everything. I would document every investment that I do. I would document what my thoughts were before I invested into that coin. I would revisit it later, understand where I was wrong and where I was right. And out of that, I would create a process over time with every bad investment that I make to eventually be able to increase my size. So when I see that I'm getting better at picking coins, then I would start to increase my size. But till that point, I would try to hold the losses as small as possible. So in the end, I don't lose too much money when the time, or that I still have enough money. So when the time is right, I still have that leverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is, I think, what I would do, and document everything. Documentation is so important.
Yeah.
And then, of course, always try to research, always try to find new knowledge which makes you able or enables you to make more money or understand a project even better, or understand, okay, now is a good time to enter, now is a good time to sell, whatever. So all of that is what I would do. What would you do?
Yeah, for me, I think it's a bit like what I told you earlier. Like, what would I do if I would want to learn the piano? For me, there's two options. I could go on YouTube and be like, how do I play the piano? And then like do it with that, which is a okay approach.
Yeah.
But what works best for me, and this is what I'm doing with everything that I have or do on the side, is just like go to someone and be like, okay, you are good at playing piano. Please teach me piano.
Okay.
And I would pay them money to help me do that. And that's, of course, provided that I have money. So if I had money, absolutely no questions. Like I would save so much time, 1000%. Of course, someone who knows what he's doing, or it doesn't even have to be something expensive, but just like, you know, something that gets me faster to my goal where I want to go. But let's say I didn't have money, I would do option number 2. So it's just like pure grind, and it's what we did in the beginning. Make a lot of mistakes, document them. It's a lot of work, but this is what I would do. And okay, I have no knowledge, so I would just like go all in and document my failures and build systems. You cannot invest if you do not have a set of rules. For example, if coin XYZ does this, then I buy it. If it has a bottom information, volume is going up, it's one of the top narratives, it's a new coin, it doesn't have a prior all-time high, like some things like that. And set rule, for example, if it goes down 5%, I'm out of it. You know, like just things like that. Yeah, and eventually work my way up, and then network, talk to a lot of people, learn, just the classic stuff.
And this is actually one thing that made us like that accelerated our journey in crypto, because like what we did in the past is that we also worked with projects, so we understood like how they work from within, and just that change of perspective allowed us to like understand crypto on a completely different level.
And this is why we told you it's a scam, because we have worked with them. Yeah, we literally would know what's going on.
Yeah, so this is actually like, this is a hack, and especially in bear markets you can do that. So that's definitely one thing. And what you said, like I thought about how I would do it when I
without money.
With 10K. Already at 20K, I would think about getting like someone who helps us or helps me, because like the process that I just described, like how long did it take us, I think, 3 years.
To do what?
Like to become successful in crypto. 2
You
to 3
define
years.
successful, but okay, let's say first 6-figure plus.
Yeah.
2021? No, 2021.
2020, 2020.
Yeah,
right?
3 years.
And
Solid 3
grind it a
years.
lot.
Let's say 3 years. Yeah.
Grind it a lot. So like understand then that if you go alone, it will take time and it will require effort, and you need to be able to stick to it, like with everything else in life. So if you want to go that route, just understand that it will take a lot of time. And with my current knowledge, I would know that getting a coach, and I do that for everything that I do, will save you so much time. And when you think about how investing works, like every saving of time allows you to create exponential returns in the end. Like being able to be successful even 1 year earlier is an exponential growth. So yeah, this is.
And also, if you don't have money, find someone who's good at crypto and provide them value. They're all lacking in something else. Maybe they're not good at social life. They're not good at fitness or something. Just be friends with them and give them tips. And you know, then it's like a free mentorship. So if you're very smart, you can do that as well. Provide high-level people with value, and then you can ask them about crypto and exchange. And I believe they're very likely to help you. So you do not, it's like if you have no money, this is what I would do also.
Yeah.
All right. This has been going for quite a while. So the last question is going to be a bit fast. And then we have some quickfire questions.
All right.
All right. What was the biggest return you ever made?
220x on Avalanche.
Yeah, for me too. Yeah, that's a lot. 220x. Buying and then actually selling it. Yes.
It was just a crazy play.
All right. Are you ready for the quickfire questions?
Yes, let's go. All right. Just to explain you what's going to happen, Jack is going to ask me this or that question, or what?
Yeah. Just a little bit of fun.
All right.
I think it's 10. It's not a lot.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Solana or ETH?
Solana.
Interesting. All right. AI or RWA?
AI.
Elon or Michael Saylor?
Michael Saylor.
XRP or Cardano?
Fuck's sake. XRP.
Yeah. CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap?
CoinGecko.
Do we first see 150,000 Bitcoin or ETH at 5K?
And $150,000 Bitcoin.
Doge or Shiba Inu?
Doge. 100%.
Coinbase or Binance?
Binance.
Layer 1s or layer 2s?
What a question. I would say layer 1s.
Anonymous devs or Docs team?
Docs team or anonymous? Docs team.
Phantom or MetaMask?
Oh, Phantom.
That's it.
All right. So now you know my opinion. I would have asked you those questions as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now whatever.
It is what it is.
Okay. So if you have any questions that you would like to get answered in the next podcast episode, drop them below the video. Jack and I will go through through all of the questions and pick the ones that we like the most. And with that being said, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next video.
See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.